I'm glad you're all here. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Welcome, everybody. Feel free to comment in the chat. Introduce your name, pronouns, and something you hope to learn about tonight. So we have a couple of group agreements. In order to avoid background noise, just please mute your mic when you're not speaking. We will be talking about some sensitive issues tonight, so be mindful not to yuck anybody's yum. If you hear about something that you're like, oh, that's not really my thing, that's great, that's fine, but it could be somebody else's. So just being mindful that there's a whole variety of experiences, and as long as everyone is consenting and having fun, that's what's really important, and we're here to explore sexuality. And then if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. Izzy will be here as well, another sexuality educator who will be able to help answer any questions. All right, if that sounds good to everybody. I can't see, I want to check out the chat really quick. If that all sounds good, we'll get started.
Yeah, Kitten, we'll, Izzy and I will manage your chat for you, and then you can just look and see if there's any questions, or we'll send them out to you.
Okay, I'm wondering if, because I can't see the chat when I'm sharing my screen.
Right.
Okay. Okay, we'll try and work with that. So, sex and food. You might be wondering why I chose a PowerPoint template with food all over it. Food and sexuality are two of my greatest passions. I like to use an analogy for sex. Our bodies are the main ingredient that we're working with in terms of sex. So we all have different needs, and part of the fun is exploring how to get those needs met. And sex comes in because sex is the recipe that we're using, and it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. And then that brings us to our sex toys, which are the spices. So can we all agree that variety is the spice of life? And so toys in that regard are the spices that we're using in our recipes, and there are endless ways to utilize them. So we might cook a lot of the same stuff, a lot of the same types of foods, but based on our needs, we're going to be making them differently. So for example, I'm vegan, so the way that I might make chocolate chip cookies is going to be different than probably the way that you're going to make them, unless you're also vegan. So all of our recipes are going to be a little bit different based on our needs. And the same applies to sex. So our desires, our values, our mental health, they're all going to influence the ways that we have sex. So I want to ask, what is sex? In the chat, I want everyone to come up with as many terms, phrases, and euphemisms as they can for sex, or what things that you think are considered to be sex, because it's different for everybody. Bumping uglies, Netflix and chill, jiggy jiggy, the tango, getting it on. All right, what else we got here? Intercourse. Intimacy, coitus. Make sure when you're commenting to all panelists and attendees so that everyone can see. Going to the boneyard, I love it. Being vulnerable. What are some other things that we use to, other phrases that we use to talk about sex? connection, dancing in the sheets, knocking boots, doing the bump. What other things are sexual, or like what is sex? Intimacy. I put in taking a shower together. Someone said making love. Sex is whatever you want to be. Fucking. Male or female on forms. Yes, when talking about sex, when you have to fill out those forms for all the things and it says sex, male or female, and that's all that it puts, it's very limiting. Vicky and Rachel like the sign for fucking. Total satisfaction is another definition of sex. And if anybody wants to turn off or turn on their mic and say things out loud, you can do that as well. Forgot to mention that earlier.
Hold on, everybody. I have to do that on mine.
Oh, okay. What's that like for people to think about different types of sex? You can put in the chat. Or if you want to come up with other terms and euphemisms for sex. There's no right or wrong answers. Maisha gets a lot more out of different types of sex. It's awesome. For a lot of people, when we think about sex, it's typically like the heteronormative, missionary type style of sex, and that can be very limiting for a lot of people. So, and especially people with different abilities and people who are just craving more variety. There's got to be more. Someone said human pretzel. Vicky says pleasure and pain. You can always incorporate pleasure and pain for a new experience. Let's get back to PowerPoint. All the toys, different ways to use your body. Yep, yeah. Okay. So when we talk about sex, often like I said, our definition is very limited. So we know that it doesn't work for everyone and that we can expand our definitions of sex. So here I'll be talking about the 5 circles of sexuality, because sexuality involves every aspect of our being, including our attitudes, our values, and our experiences. So first circle we have here, well, the 5 circles all together are sensuality, sexual health and reproduction, intimacy, sexualization, and identity. Each of these categories intersect with our individual identities and experiences, and consequently affects the ways that we experience sex individually. So all of the circles overlap in the middle, where we find empowerment and autonomy in our sexual decision making. So sensuality refers to the awareness, acceptance of, and comfort with one's own body, as well as physiological and psychological enjoyment of the body and bodies of others. It also involves our senses, so things like taste, touch, hearing, smell, and sight, and incorporating pleasure in all of these modalities, and also including the sexual response cycle, body image, and fantasy. When we're talking about sexual health and reproduction, This includes attitudes and behaviors related to the care of sexual and reproductive organs, reproductive choices, reproductive justice, and sexual health. So we're seeing that sex already just encompasses so many other areas of our lives than just what we're doing in bed. Intimacy, when we're talking about intimacy, it's the ability and need to experience emotional closeness to another human and have it returned. This circle involves not only physical intimacy in terms of touch, but also emotional intimacy in caring and sharing, loving and liking each other, the emotional risk-taking that we engage in during sex, the trust, disclosure, and vulnerability involved as well. The fourth circle, sexualization. This includes the use of sexuality to influence, control, and manipulate others. This includes playful behaviors such as flirting, seduction, societal perspectives such as media messages and images, which can often be harmful, and also other harmful behaviors like coercion, sexual harassment, and rape. And then our last circle of sexuality is our sexual identity. This includes the development of a sense of who we are, including the understanding of our gender identity and sexual orientation. This is also our biological sex, our sexual expression, our gender roles, all of the above fall into that category. So I know that was a lot. Go back. Is there any questions about the circles of sexuality? Because then we'll be talking about sexual anatomy. So sexual anatomy, our main ingredients. So similar to learning about the different ingredients that we want to cook with, we can explore our bodies in a similar way. So when we talk about sexual anatomy, we're usually referring to the genitals. However, many other parts of the body can be erotic zones and respond to sexual arousal as well. So I encourage folks to be creative with their definitions of sex and pleasure and what they find pleasurable physically, not just including their genitals. On this slide, I share a quote from Emily Nagoski, who's a sexuality educator and sexuality researcher. She says, "Everyone's genitals are made of all the same parts, just organized in different ways. The differences don't necessarily mean anything. They're just varieties of beautiful and healthy." So when we talk about our genitals, I've got a couple demonstrations to show you here. Give me 1 second. Sorry if you hear some beeping, my smoke alarm or something is going off, but it should be fine. Okay. So sexual anatomy, let's see. When you are assigned female at birth, it likely means that you have a vulva. So here is our vulva. I want to stop sharing for a moment so I can see my camera. Hang on. Okay. Hang on one moment. I'm still getting used to Zoom. I appreciate your patience. Okay, here we are. Okay, so this is our vulva. Beautiful, beautiful little vulva right here. And then we have our penis, and I'm going to show you how they're actually very similar, though they look very different from the outside. So our vulva, we have our clitoris right here. This little knob right here is our clitoris, which is very similar in terms of sensitivity and nerve endings in the head of our penis. So it is a bit larger here, but they are similar parts of the sexual anatomy. Okay. And stop sharing. Stop sharing. Okay. Also on our vulva is the clitoral hood. So this covers. Let me take a look at the chat. Yes, Izzy says they develop the same in utero, which is super cool. So basically, depending on which hormones you receive in utero, you start out the same and then you develop differently after that. Okay, so we have the hood of our clitoris here, which is similar to the foreskin that my penis would have if it had a foreskin. So the foreskin would cover the head here and would be similar to the hood of the clitoris. On our vulva here, the fourchette would be this little piece of skin here at the bottom, connecting right here at the bottom. Vicky says this is a circumcised dude. Yes. Oops. Okay, so we got the fourchette here, which is similar to the frenulum, which is the piece of skin here at the bottom that connects the head and the shaft. Okay. On our vulva, we have our urethra here. Similarly, on the penis, we have the urethra here. And then on our vulva, so the vulva is all of this stuff. The vagina is on the inside. So inside the vagina, it's kind of like a tube that leads up to the rest of our anatomy inside, which is similar to the shaft on the penis. Okay. And then our last part here, the labia. The labia is going to be very similar to the skin that is our scrotum on the penis. Okay. So just like Emily Nagoski said, all the same parts, just organized in different ways. And then of course our anus will be down here and our anus would be back here, but these do not contain those. So that is our basic sexual anatomy. So now we know what our ingredients are. Okay. And we can talk about toys, our spices, now that we're more familiar with our ingredients. So for remote access toys, we've got a few options, and there's going to be way more options available in the shop, but also just in general. But I've brought up a few things to show y'all. Remote access toys. This is one of the options that I like to recommend for folks. This is a vibrating bullet with a remote attached to it. Wait, let me check out the chat.
So Kitten, in the chat, we're talking about some people can't see you.
Oh.
And so they're like trying to figure out how to better see you and also the screen.
Oh no.
But
so they didn't see all the pillows.
I don't think everyone saw it. It was beautiful though.
Thank you. And
well,
Alyssa said they should knit a foreskin. I would love that. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that people weren't able to see my video as well. Unless you switch to gallery view. Okay, are folks able to switch to gallery view so they can see?
You should be all good. I refigured everything.
Okay, cool. So everybody can see me now? Should I show the pillows just in case somebody didn't see the pillows? These are like my favorite part. And we got the penis here. All right, our lovely little pillows that are so soft and cuddly. Okay, so talking about toys, are people able to see the toys when I show?
Is it possible for you to take the PowerPoint off while you
take off the PowerPoint? Yeah, I can do that.
But just kind of like maybe you can put it up right at the beginning to show people what you're going to talk about and then stop. I know it's a pain but I can help
Okay, that's
take it down for you.
okay. That works. All right, so we got this. Can everybody see me? Teamwork. So we got this vibrating bullet with the remote attachment here. So this, a partner or even you yourself can control the vibration with our remote here. It has a little light here to indicate that it's on. Goes from low to high speeds, whatever you're in the mood for. It's pretty easy to turn on and turn off. And another option that we have, okay. Another option we have is this. This is an anal plug that comes with a remote control. The remote is battery operated, so you don't have to be restricted to a cord attached to it. So this is an anal plug that can be operated by you or a partner. It has very strong vibration settings. And the cool thing about this toy in particular is that the remote also vibrates. So you know what you're doing to your partner as you're turning on the remote because it's doing the same vibration setting as the plug itself. So you're not just clicking buttons wondering if it's working because you know what type of vibration setting the vibrator is doing, if that makes sense. Another remote access toy that we have for making sex more accessible is the Vibe Sync. There's a couple different variations of this toy, but this is generally the shape. This part is inserted vaginally. This stays outside on the clit. So it fits like this inside the vagina. And so this one is actually adjustable for different body shapes. It has joints in it, so I can change the shape or make it fit tighter. I can also open it up and put it around a penis if I want to. So it can be used vaginally or on a penis, okay? There's a lot of different options for this toy in terms of usability. You can use a remote control with it. There's also buttons on it that you can use to turn it on. You can also use an app on your phone, on a smartphone. And with the app, you can control the vibrator from anywhere in the world. So if your partner's traveling or even if you're together out at dinner or just anywhere and your partner's wearing this, you can control the vibration with the app. It is waterproof and it's rechargeable. So this is the Vibe Sync. The butt plug is the Sensual mini plug. And I don't recall what this was exactly called. It's a bullet remote vibrator. You heard the smoke detector going off. Those are the remote control toys that I have here to show you. So let me grab this PowerPoint quick. Some other toys that we have to assist in making sex more accessible is extended reach toys. So we have, longer vibrators and vibrating wands. So we've got this vibrator that has a longer handle. Some vibrators are shorter, but this one gives you like more reach to work with. This can be inserted vaginally. It can be used externally. It's typically going to be used for G-spot stimulation. So if you're inserting it into a vagina, this curve here is going to be nice for hitting the G-spot. And with the handle, it's just going to give you a little bit more reach than some other toys would. It's waterproof and rechargeable. It's the Vedo line, V-E-D-O, is what it's called. And
Kitten, can you show the buttons a little bit better?
Oh, yes.
Just so we can see like the shape and everything.
Yeah. So the button is actually here. It's just one button that you click, and this one might need to be charged. Oh, I got it. Okay. So to turn it on, you just click it, and then you can cycle through the different vibration patterns that it does if you keep clicking it. And to turn it off, you hold the button down. And then to charge it, if I could, you screw off the top here, and then you plug in the charger there, and it's rechargeable. Great question, thank you. Some other extended reach toys that we have. Lots of vibrators. Let's see, so many to pick from. We have these wand vibrators that give you a little extra reach and a lot of power. Investment in rechargeable batteries. Okay, so a vibrator like this wand, very powerful. So for somebody who needs a lot of stimulation or enjoys just a lot of vibration or stimulation. The button is here. It's this little gem. You click it once to turn it on. It starts at a nice low rumble. And then for this one in particular, it does not have vibration patterns, but if you hold the button down, it gets more powerful. So just holding it down, it gets really powerful. And then to turn it off, just a quick click of the button. So this can be used externally in a variety of different positions, and because of how powerful it is, it can be very effective very quickly. Any questions about this wand? We've got other types of wands and like a couple other different styles that are a bit larger. Wands were actually developed. Someone says, I love my Hitachi. Hitachi was the original magic wand. They were originally developed for back massages and muscle pain, which is why they're generally so big and bulky. The other ones that are big and bulky is because they were made to be back massagers. But then people started using them for sex, and now you'll find them in all types of sex shops. The Tantus Rumble wand, someone says, was designed for accessible use. We used to carry that, and we haven't had it in a while. And I'm wondering if it was discontinued, because I would have had that here for this demonstration, because it did have a handle with buttons in different areas on the handle that made it really accessible. Oh, Crystal, hi. Yes, if you'd like to post links in the chat, feel free. All right, any questions about the wands? Yes, the Hitachi is still good for back massages. It's a multi-use tool. All right. Next for our toys. We've got sensitivity. So sensitivity products are great for those who experience either heightened or decreased sensitivity to touch. So for those with heightened sensitivity, I have some options for mild vibrators or thrusting toys that can be pleasurable options. Alternatively, those with decreased sensitivity may enjoy stronger vibrations. So like the ones that I just showed have very strong vibrations. So for somebody with decreased sensitivity, that may be a good option for them. And I lost my spot in my notes. Folks with dexterity difficulties may benefit from set it and let it toys. So toys that don't require a lot of manual manipulation, toys that you can kind of just let them do their thing, and I'll show you those in a second. And then we also have different types of stimulation gels that are available for those who would like increased blood flow or tingling sensations. So starting with heightened sensitivity. So somebody who's very sensitive might enjoy a mild vibrator. So a battery operated vibrator, something like this, is going to not be as strong of a vibrator as a wand. A wand is typically going to have a much higher vibration frequency. So the battery operated vibrator is still going to provide vibration, but just not be as intense. And this one, similar to the one I showed earlier, this part is inserted vaginally, and this stays outside on the clit. I also like this toy as an accessible toy because it's flexible and can fit with a lot of different body types. So this would be inserted like this, and this would stay outside. You can also use it in different ways externally. You can insert one part vaginally and one part anally if you want to. It's pretty versatile. Okay. Another option, thrusting toys. So for somebody who has heightened sensitivity, a thrusting toy might be a good option. So this is a toy that does the thrusting motion for you. So let me see. Okay. See it doing that movement? I can't tell if the camera is showing this movement very much, but I'm not making it do that movement. It's doing that on its own.
I have held that toy. This is Izzy talking. I've held that toy many times, and it's so powerful. It like moves your whole arm.
Yeah, it's so cool. It just does it for you. So inside the toy is two magnets that are moving back and forth, which makes it do that thrusting motion for you. So it's not a vibrator, it's a thruster. So it can also be helpful for people who have dexterity issues or their wrists. It's going to do some of the movement for you. This is waterproof, rechargeable. This is from a brand called Fun Factory. So it's rechargeable here on the end. The charger is magnetic to the bottom here. And this is called the Stronic Reel. And here are the buttons. If you can see the buttons. So you turn it on. There's a plus button that you can turn it on and turn up the intensity, and the minus button to turn it off and turn down the intensity. Okay. A fun little option here. So in terms of people with decreased sensitivity, they may enjoy the stronger vibrations of a wand, such as this, or the Satisfier, which is a toy that mimics suction. So this actually provides air pressure wave stimulation. Let's see if I can, if you can like hear it. You can hear it. But so it provides air pressure waves. So for clitoral stimulation, let me turn it off. It doesn't want to play. Okay. For clitoral stimulation, I'll put it right here. For clitoral stimulation or for nipples, if your nipples are sensitive and you enjoy that type of stimulation, this is great for that. It's also waterproof and rechargeable, like the other couple toys that I just showed. It can be used in a variety of positions with or without a partner. But this is one of those toys you can kind of let it set and do its thing. It's a funny type of stimulation because it's not vibration, it's air pressure waves, but it works. Okay. And then I had mentioned we have stimulating gels for people who have decreased sensitivity. We have these arousal gels that can be tingly. This is a cooling gel. It's on arousal gel. It's a cooling gel. These are vasodilators. They help bring blood flow to the surface of the skin to make it feel more sensitive. This is a tingly one. And then this one is also a tingly one that is flavored like coffee cake, just in case you wanted coffee cake with your sex. Because like we said, food and sex are great together. And then Izzy did mention too that this has a very large handle, which is great for gripping. Some smaller toys can be hard to grip, and especially if they're vibrating or doing something crazy, it can be hard to keep control, especially when you're in the throes of orgasm. All right. A couple other toys for sensitivity that I would like to recommend. We have masturbator sleeves. So this is a masturbator sleeve for a penis. You'd insert the penis here. So there's all kinds of ridges and bumps on the inside here. So for masturbating with this, it's going to give you a different stimulation than your hand. And there's a couple other types of masturbator sleeves down there as well that have, there's more advanced ones that have like a motion that makes it feel like it has a moving motion on the inside. We have like a rechargeable one that has kind of a moving motor, and it also vibrates as well. So that can provide a lot of stimulation if you have difficulty with the thrusting motion with your wrist or your hand. So these are great ways to just add stimulation and change up your masturbation routine. Any questions about the sensitivity product?
How do you clean that masturbation?
Oh, yes. So this, very good question. So just warm water and soap. You don't need anything fancy for these actually, which is great. And then it actually comes with a stand that you would put it on to let it air dry. Because with this, it has kind of like some wiring on the inside that you can't turn it inside out. So you would just rinse it out really well with water and soap, and then just rinse it really well with water so that there's no soap left in it. And then let it sit on its stand to air dry for a little bit. So that's one thing. If you do live with family members or friends or roommates, you want to make sure if you don't want them to find your toys, you have to have like a place to kind of hide it away while it's drying. So just being aware of that. In terms of cleaning the other toys, most other toys you can just use warm water, especially if they're waterproof, just warm water and antibacterial soap for all the other toys that I had mentioned. Except for this. This wand is not waterproof. Heads up. Any other questions about those so far? I know this is a lot of information.
There's a question in the chat.
Okay.
From Maisha.
Okay. Can you talk about toys you can share versus toys that you can't? Right. Yes. Typically, 99.9% of the toys that I'm showing are made of silicone, which is a body-safe material, super easy to clean, non-porous, so it can be shared with partners or friends. Whoever you're comfortable sharing them with. The main thing you want to think about, like this masturbation sleeve is not silicone, so it's not typically something you would be sharing with somebody. It is porous, and it's not something that's going to last forever. So this is not something that you would be sharing with a partner. If you shop for a dildo at a store, some places do sell toys that are not made of body safe materials, unfortunately, because they are not all regulated as they should be. You shouldn't be able to smell the toy. Silicone doesn't really have much of a smell. So if you can smell the toy, that's a good indicator that it is not good for your body. It's not body safe, and you shouldn't be using it on yourself or with somebody else. So if toys are made of silicone or the body of this toy is made of plastic, it's easy to clean and it's non-porous. All right.
Can I just quickly show a toy that's not body safe?
Yeah.
Let me turn on my camera. How do I do that? Okay. Okay, hi. So this is a not body safe one. I got it it was like a giveaway for free from Adam and Eve. And it's like, it smells like rubber, and it's just, took one look at it and I was like, nope, this is a no.
Yeah.
And it's just a really cheap material. So you can tell when they're not body safe, but definitely be careful of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for showing that. I'll put in the chat. There's a sex toy review site that I highly recommend if anybody's curious. Dangerous Lily, I think is what it's called. She's a sex toy reviewer, and she has lots more information about how to tell what toys are safe and what toys are not, and how to test them for that. So she's got tons of great articles and reviews that can really speak to that. All right. Moving on. Positioning aids. So we've got wedges and different types of sex furniture. I know some people have been looking forward to hearing about sex swings. And we'll talk a little bit about repurposing kink materials. I'm trying to find my chat. Okay, so for positioning aids, we've got a lot of them here. We typically, I've got this Liberator Fascinator throw, which is a blanket to be used for different types of play. If you're worried about getting your sheets wet or dirty or anything, this is a great option for keeping your sheets clean if you're worried about incontinence or anything like that. Liberator also makes a variety of sex furniture like pillows that can be used, which we don't have in stock at the moment, but they're on their way thanks to COVID. They're delayed. But different types of sex furniture, which are just like very firm pillows in different shapes that can aid in different positions. We've also got under the bed restraints. So these are straps that go under your mattress with handcuffs at the end that you can arrange in different figurations to assist with different positions if you like. Mainly made for restraint in terms of kink and bondage, but can also just be used as a super accessible way to have sex. So I believe, is Alyssa here? Did Alyssa want to share a little story about about your use of the under the bed restraints?
Oh, I was just gonna say how much I absolutely love mine. I guess it wasn't under the bed restraints. It was a different restraint system that my partner and I repurposed, basically using the restraints because I was having trouble keeping my legs up. And so we managed to fit the restraints around my upper legs close to my knees and then around the back of my neck. And it held my legs up for me rather than me having to, exert a lot of muscle into doing that. So it was basically just took a leather restraint system and futzed around a little bit with it. And it was so helpful.
Yeah, that's so awesome. That's so good to hear. We have also this one. This is a door jam sex sling, which sounds similar to what you're talking about, except on the door instead of the mattress. But with this picture here, it shows how it connects to your door and has a strap that can go under the waist and a strap that you can, straps for the wrists. But of course, there's different ways to repurpose it in terms of what your needs are. And definitely trying different positions. Another option we have in terms of repurposing kink, we've got this leather slapper here, which can be used for pay and play, for spanking or what have you, but also this handle comes apart. Super cool. So it can be used as like what some might call a doggy style strap. You can put it around your waist here to aid in different positions. You can put it behind somebody's head to help support their head in certain positions. So this is another great option for just increasing accessibility to different positions and making things a little bit more comfortable. And then we've got our sex swing. Okay, this is big and heavy, but so this would be connected to a hard point in the ceiling instead of the other one that connects on the door. So this here, it's kind of hard to see everything that's going on in the picture, but for a lot of people who would benefit from being lifted up off of the floor of the bed, this can provide a lot of new options for playing. Here. Let's see. The pictures they have on these things are always really entertaining at best. This particular option is $149.99. There are a few options out there at varying price points. Let's see. Yes.
Can I turn my video on? I just want to show I have a pillow.
Yeah.
Wanted to see what one looked like.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see it. Yes, the wedge ramp, I think, is that. I can't remember which one, what they call it, but yes. Yes, that's awesome. And it's like firm, so it's not like
Yes,
super squishy. It's like really, really supportive.
Yes, I got this when I was at a leadership conference for United Spinal last year, and had to figure out how to get it home because once you take it out of the box, it never goes back.
Yeah, exactly. The box is like pretty compact, but once it's out, it's out. That's awesome. I actually have a heart-shaped one that's very similar to that. And I've repurposed it to use it during workouts for different positions. So you can use it for working out, you can use it for sex, you can use it for, it's a multi-purpose tool, which is great. Any questions about the positioning aids or repurposing kink? Let's see what else I got here. Okay. I think that's all the ones that I brought up here. Okay. We've got ergonomic access. So these products reduce many difficulties that you can face when holding and attempting to control sex toys. So these products are designed with attention to weight, grip, and electronic controls. So as we had mentioned before, some of the wands have different placement for their buttons to make them more ergonomic. I also encourage people to use different types of toys like anal toys, because anal play can be used as an indirect way of stimulation for other erotic zones.
Put your mic back up closer.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Okay. So yes, products that designed with attention to weight and grip and electronic controls. We have, where did it go? This is, I believe this is called the Fin. I think this is called the Fin by the brand name Dame. So what is this thing? This is a external vibrator. The button is on top here, and it's got little straps here to put around your fingers so that you don't drop it. So a lot easier to hold on to, especially some things that vibrate can kind of like make your fingers feel funny and be hard to hold on to. But with the little straps, it makes it a lot easier. Okay, so for external simulation, we've got this little guy. Another really cute option for vibration, this is the Eva. This is called Eva, if you can see here. So this is an adorable little vibrator for clitoral stimulation. It's made to sit in between the labia of the vulva. So if this was bigger and it would fit, it would sit on the clit in the labia here. The arms are kind of flexible. So depending on the size and shape of your labia, they could potentially hold it in place and it would sit on top of the clit. So this is a hands-free vibrator. It was developed to be hands-free. And in certain positions, it works better than others. Some positions can kind of knock it out of place. But it can also be used as like a panty vibe. So if you have your underwear still on, you can kind of tuck this in and that's going to hold it in place as well. The little button here on top, you click it to turn it on. It's got 3 speeds, low, medium, and high. And then you click it one last time to turn it off. So it's a pretty simple little cute little guy. It's rechargeable. It plugs in. There's a little tiny hole in the top where it plugs in to recharge. And it is splash proof, but not waterproof. So this cannot go underwater, but if it's in the shower, it should be okay as long as water doesn't get into the hole. And also Dame is a woman-owned sex toy company, which is awesome. So support women-owned businesses. Another ergonomic toy. This toy is great. This is called the Mimic. Looks kind of like a sea creature, manta ray type of thing. This is really comfortable to hold in the hand, and the little fins kind of make it more comfortable to hold as well. You can experiment with the ways that you have your fingers interlaced with the toy. Power button is back here, and it's got the buttons to change the intensity next to the power button. This can also be used sort of like a panty vibe, where you can set it in place and have your underwear hold it in place. So you can use it hands-free, making it more accessible for use. Pretty strong vibration, and you can kind of get creative with where it feels good on your body. It's not like a very specific shape, but for external use, you can find what feels good. I had mentioned that anal play is a way to utilize ergonomic kind of stimulation, where if you insert something anally, it's also going to provide stimulation to parts in the vulva because they're nearby, they're neighbors. So this toy in particular has a secret power. This is an anal plug, so inserting this anally. It's got the base here to hold it in place, and it's a thin base so that it's comfortable between the cheeks. But on the inside, I don't know if you can like hear that, there's balls on the inside of this that shake. So when you shake it, you can feel those moving around, and it increases the sensation that it's providing. So if your partner or you are wearing this and you're spanking, if you're being spanked while wearing this and it's shaking and it's kind of reacting to your body's movement, it can be a really interesting and unique sensation from vibration. Tune to the chat. Somebody has their hand up. Okay, let me see. How do I?
Mia, you can speak now.
I think they're still muted.
I turned them.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Hi.
I wanted to ask, what toys would you, I guess, recommend? Well, I think you already pointed out, but I didn't see the listing for people who have like a lot more sensitivity.
Okay. People who are very sensitive. So that
Sorry,
would be, I would say, battery operated vibrators, so vibrators that are not going to be as strong. Battery operated tend to be less intense. Rechargeable vibrators tend to be more intense. So there's a couple options. I could show you more on the website as well too. But so this is one of our battery operated versions. Are you looking for something to be inserted or just external?
Just wanted to know in general.
In general, yeah.
Hey.
Because there are also like battery operated bullet vibrators, which are just very small vibrators to be used externally, and those can range in power and intensity as well. So for somebody who doesn't need a whole lot of power, this could be a good option for external stimulation. And then what else was there? Oh, the thruster. The thruster was another good option because it's not vibrating, it's thrusting. So it's a unique sensation, but it's not going to be as intense. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then if you don't even care about vibration, maybe even just a simple dildo is the way to go. If that's the type of stimulation you're looking for, if you want something to insert. And then what's great about this dildo is it has a suction cup. So you could stick it to the shower wall or the shower floor or something that's the counter. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes it easier. Okay.
Yeah. Another thing I just thought of, if you have like a exercise ball and you stick this on there, if it sticks to the exercise ball, and that could make it a little bit easier too, depending on the way your body works, if that would be a helpful way for you to utilize the exercise ball. That is an option. But so I love suction cup toys because you can put it wherever it's going to stick and then have your way with it. There's another suction cup toy here that's a little more phallic. This one actually glows in the dark too, which is really cool. So if you want to be able to, if you like having the lights off but you still want to see your toys, here's an option for you. All right. What else is there anything else I was going to talk about? I think I got most of them. Oh, there was another toy. So I've heard about people wanting to strap things onto themselves. So we've got strap-on harnesses for the hips, but if that is not an option for you, we've got other options. I actually thought of repurposing this gag that's meant to be put in your mouth. So this is a ring gag to be put in your mouth. But if you put a small dildo into it, and you can strap this onto your face if you want to. If you want somebody to fuck your face, you can make that happen. You can strap it onto your thigh, and also experiment with different positions using it on your thigh. Alternatively, we do have one that is actually built for, this is a thigh strap-on. Kind of hard to see in there. But so you would put a dildo into this and strap that onto your thigh. So it gives you more options. And as I had mentioned, strap-on harnesses, if you have, if you'd like to strap on a dildo of any size onto your hips, we've got tons of options for those as well. And they're super adjustable. Any questions or comments on those? Oh yes, Izzy said that the strap-on thigh harness is good for wheelchair penetration. Absolutely. Yes. So what's really great about these toys for a lot of able-bodied people are kind of like, people treat them as like add-ons or like just a fun thing to throw into your sex. But for a lot of people with disabilities, they can, they're necessary and make sex actually possible and just much more accessible than it ever could have been. So I think having that perspective about toys and seeing them as a necessity just kind of changes the whole ball game, the whole perspective of sex toys as it were. All right, closure. So if anybody wants to comment in the chat, or you can say it out loud if you raise your hand and we can turn on your mic. One thing that you learned about. Also, if you have any other questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. of course. And if you would like to tip your presenter, I've put my Venmo on the screen for you. And there's so many other toys out there that I would love to talk to anybody about. So I'll also put like my email in the chat as well. If anybody wants to reach out afterwards with any other questions. We have tons of resources and toys. And all of the staff that work here are really great and friendly and love talking about this stuff and helping people get what they need.
Yes, I highly recommend going to Sexploratorium. And they have an iPad, so like when things open up, they're not accessible on the second floor, but you can go in on the first floor and look at all the clothes, and you can ask them to bring down any toy that you want to look at. So like they'll work with you.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now anyway. With curbside, we're doing curbside pickup. So we'll bring stuff to people at the door. You can check it out. We have a table at our door that we set all the stuff down, and you can like touch it and interact with it. And we make sure we're social distancing and wearing masks. And we ship to anybody all over the world. We can ship toys to you. And on that note, anybody who buys anything after this presentation, we have a discount code that you can use. If Vicky would like to put that in the chat as well, you will get 10% off your purchase on our website, off your whole purchase. Pleasure is power, Izzy. Hell yeah. Is there any other questions I missed? Vibrators with suction placement. There are some vibrators with suction placement. A lot of the dildos don't have vibration and suction because that is difficult to engineer, I feel like. There are a couple options out there that do that though. Oh, thank you, Crystal. Thank you guys for helping out in the chat. Somebody, Crystal, you raising your hand? Is your mic on? I don't know if there's anything I can do.
No,
I got it.
Okay.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Keaton, you are amazing.
Thank you.
Love this presentation. I'm so glad for the invite. Two things I did want to mention was our love bump and O-nut, because we were mentioning strap-on harnesses. So for anyone who has sensitivity in their pelvic area or dealing with, sorry about the fireworks in the background, telling you people if you can hear them. Just I wanted to recommend those two products because if people are sensitive or still like recovering from any type of pelvic pain, those two products can serve as like a buffer on dildos. So
Yes.
there is like, when in action, you have something to bounce off of.
Yeah.
Provide increased pleasurable sensation, but will minimize any form of pain during intercourse.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that.
Those two.
The O-nut, I believe, has 4 pieces. It's like a squishy-ish, I think it's a TPE material. It's squishy and there's 4 pieces to it, so you can kind of add as many as you need. It fits over the penis like a cock ring. So if you had all 4 on the penis, it would reach to about here, and that would help limit the amount of penetration that is occurring. So as a person is inserting the penis or the dildo, it's going to kind of limit their penetration so that if it's too painful to go much further, it's going to make it more pleasurable for the person receiving, if that makes sense. So the O-nut is is very helpful in helping prevent kind of like the the pain of deeper penetration. Awesome. All right. Well, I think that is all that I have for now. If anybody has any other questions, feel free. And if anybody wants to share anything that they enjoyed about the presentation. My favorite part personally was the pillows. I wish you could all feel how soft these are.
Looks adorable too.
Yes.
And I wanted to say we have the rest of the month is full of Disability Pride events. So go to disabilitypridephiladelphia.org and check out the other events too. And thank you
You
so
guys
much.
do so much cool stuff, and I'm so thankful to be a part of this. So thank you for inviting me, Izzy and Vicky. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Somebody asked if you would describe pillow.
Okay,
Because they didn't get to see it. Can you put it up again?
yes.
Both of them?
Yeah. So first we got the vulva pillow. It's crocheted. I don't know what kind of yarn this was. It's very soft, but this is brown. The majority of the vulva is brown, and it's got the pink lips, the pink labia lips here, the pink clitoris, and the pink vaginal opening here. And then our penis pillow is mostly pink. The same kind of like crocheted look to it. It's got the scrotum here, the shaft, and the head of the penis here. Yeah.
And it's very large. It's like 2 feet long.
Yeah, it's definitely like 2 feet long. And then Alyssa said it's chenille. Is that how you say it? Chenille yarn?
Yes.
Okay. It's chenille yarn. So it's potentially chenille yarn. I think it's very soft yarn. I don't know anything about yarn. So Chanel. Chenille.
She is the expert.
Yes. Yarn expert. All right, awesome.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for coming tonight to find more pleasure with toys. We had a great night. I hope you all were here when we started off with Q&A with the sex educator. We went into kinkability, and now we're just finishing up with Kitten from Passanel Boutique and finding pleasure in toys. Thank you to our interpreters, Rachel and Brandy, to our captionist, Missy. Thank you again, Kitten. We love working with you. Thank you, Izzy, for putting all of this together. And thank you, everybody who came tonight. And we hope you have a great night. And tomorrow, if you're interested, there is a chat forum just for anybody who wants to get on and say hello to everybody. It's going to kind of be like an open door from 1 to 2 o'clock. Check us out if you want. You can just click on the join us on our website underneath July 12th. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Sleep well.